everybody, today I'm going to talk with you about bipolar 2 disorder and how it differs from bipolar 1. So stay tuned. So I have heard from many of you that you needed more information about bipolar disorder. And I heard you. Don't worry, that's why I'm here right now, making this video about bipolar 2. And I will talk about bipolar 2 and how it differs a little bit from bipolar 1, but don't worry, I will do another video about bipolar 1 so that you can see the differences more clearly. But if you have not checked out my kind of bipolar summary video that I created a while ago, remember the whiteboard and I made squiggles to kind of show you the differences and tell you how bipolar disorder works, you're going to want to click here and watch it first because it gives you a good summary before we get kind of more into the nitty-gritty of bipolar 2. Without further ado, and as always, I have notes and my handy-dandy DSM. So, bipolar 2. Now, the way that I always think of bipolar 2 is that it's the depressive side of bipolar disorder. You never have mania. Never. You have hypomania. And this can be sometimes tricky for people to feel the differences or understand the differences, but that's why you have to see a professional to get a proper diagnosis. And so if you're worried that you're struggling with this, before trying to diagnose yourself, I would please encourage you, I can't encourage you enough to see a professional to get a proper diagnosis, put a treatment plan together, and figure out what's the best path for you. So, bipolar 2, you don't have mania, but you have hypomania. And I'm going to read you from the DSM really quick about what hypomania may look like. And it says that you will have an abnormally and persistently elevated, expansive, or irritable mood. You can feel really an inflated sense of self-esteem, like, I'm the best, I can do anything. You also feel a decreased need for sleep. And if you remember me talking about mania in the other video, and I believe in other FAQs, it sounds a lot like it, right? It's just a lower grade. And that's why it's important to see a professional, because they'll know exactly what you're struggling with. Also says like flight of ideas, like I have so many things flowing through my mind, I just can't settle down on it. There's so many things I want to do and so many things I feel like I want to change in the world. And it can be a really motivated place for a lot of people to live in. And I know a lot of artists and people sometimes like being hypomanic because it's not as intense as mania, but we get a lot done. We have so many ideas. Also really distractible, as you can imagine. If you're thinking about all these different things, it's hard for you to stay on topic. Increased goal-directed activity, like I said, you're really productive. Excessive involvement in activities that have a high potential for painful consequences. And this is where we usually end up in trouble, like we end up in the hospital, or our family members or friends may call 911 to get us help. We may be sleeping around, we may be spending obscene amounts of money at the mall, we may buy a new car, we may do things that we shouldn't be doing because it can have a really horrific consequence on the end. And so that is kind of how a hypomanic episode looks. It can be very similar to mania, like I said, but it has to last at least for 4 consecutive days, present most of the day, nearly every day. And you must also have a major depressive episode in order to be diagnosed with bipolar 2 disorder. Now, a major depressive episode has to last at least 2 weeks. And to give you an idea of what that may feel like, you have to have 5 or more of the following symptoms that have been present during the same 2-week period, just like I was saying. Depressed mood most of the day, diminished interest, like we talked about before in the 6 signs of depression, anhedonia, not being interested in pleasurable activities or activities that used to be pleasurable to you are no longer pleasurable. You may lose weight, you may gain weight, you may oversleep, you may not sleep enough. You may feel fatigued and have body aches. And a lot of those things will happen when we have bipolar 2, because we have to have hypomania and a major depressive episode. Those both have to occur to get the diagnosis of bipolar 2, and you can't have mania. If you have mania, that makes you bipolar 1. Okay? So that's what bipolar 2 disorder is. You can see why it's one of the most misdiagnosed things in the psych world. It's a lot of psychiatrists that I work with and therapists that I work with feel that a lot of people that are diagnosed with depression may really have bipolar 2. Or people that are diagnosed with bipolar 2 may actually just have major depressive disorder. And it can be really difficult for us to properly diagnose. That's why I cannot encourage you enough to seek out professional help. Get a proper diagnosis, get properly assessed, and then you can look at your options for treatment. There are a lot of options out there. Medication, as always, is an option, therapy, and different treatment centers. There are a lot of day programs you can go to better understand your illness. There are group therapy, things for you and your family, because a lot of people with bipolar disorder, if they have a hypomanic or a manic episode, can do some things that are really detrimental to themselves and to their relationships. And so there are a lot of group therapy things available in hospital settings, in inpatient settings, where you can help rebuild that relationship and better understand your own bipolar disorder so that it can get properly treated. I hope that this helps. If you like videos where I talk a little bit more in depth about a specific diagnosis, give it a thumbs up and let me know. And leave your comments below. What has bipolar 2 disorder looked like for you? What have you done in treatment to help you better overcome it? Because as a community, we can be so strong. We have so many experiences and so much information we can glean from each other. It's more than just me telling you how we diagnose and what your treatment options are. We can share our stories. So share your stories, and I'll see you next time. Is a low-grade depression. So it would kind of be like if we just kind of hung in here. That would